You know that feeling when a character does something surprising and you just know the answer is hiding somewhere in their past? Well, that's the magic of flashbacks, and today we are going to unlock it. Hi Writer, I'm Andrea from Bibisco, the novel writing software downloaded by more than 200,000 writers all over the world to help them shape, structure and finally write the stories they have been dreaming about. And today we are talking about something incredibly powerful for your storytelling: how to use flashbacks in a way that deepens your characters and elevates your entire narrative. If you stay with me till the end, you'll walk away knowing exactly how to use flashbacks without confusing the reader, how to make them emotional instead of distracting, and how to integrate them into a story that flows beautifully. Flashbacks are one of those tools that, when used well, feel almost effortless. They are like opening a small door in the present to reveal something that reshapes everything we thought we knew. A flashback isn't just "and then she remembered." It's a moment that reveals something essential: a motivation, a fear, a wound, a promise. Flashbacks really shine when they do three things. They reveal crucial information. Sometimes you need to take readers back to the moment everything changed. The betrayal, the childhood belief, the first love. Suddenly, the character makes perfect sense. They create tension and suspense. A flashback can plant a question in your reader's mind. Wait, what happened? And that question keeps them reading. They expand your story's world. Flashbacks let you bring in new voices, early events, and entire time periods without writing a second book to explain everything. Flashbacks come in many different forms, and each one brings a unique emotional flavor to your story. Let's walk through the main types. Dream flashbacks are perfect when the past still lives inside the character. In a dream, a memory doesn't appear as a clean chronological replay. It comes back in symbols, emotion, impressions. A character who's lost someone might see a figure drifting through fog or hear a familiar voice they can't reach. The dream doesn't describe the event exactly as it happened. It reveals how it still feels. This kind of flashback adds atmosphere and shows the deeper emotional wounds or desires a character carries, even if they are not ready to talk about them. Then there's the simple everyday flashback. A character sees something, hears something, smells something, and suddenly the past returns. It's quite believable and incredibly natural. A chipped teacup might take someone back to their mother's kitchen. A melody might bring up an entire summer they thought they had forgotten. This kind of flashback works beautifully when you want a gentle transition, a soft blending of present and past that reveals something meaningful without stopping the story. Sometimes the flashback doesn't come from memory at all, but from the literal voice of the past. A character opens a letter, reads an old diary, discovers a forgotten note, and suddenly we are experiencing that moment through the words of someone who lived it. It feels intimate and often surprising because the protagonist is discovering new information right along with the reader. It's a wonderfully emotional way to introduce hidden truths, different perspectives, or a touch of mystery. Some memories don't rise gently, they hit. A scent, a sound, a taste, and the character is thrown backwards into a vivid moment. These flashbacks are fast and usually loaded with emotion. They're ideal when you want to show lingering trauma, unresolved feelings, or a strong contrast between who the character was and who they have become. Sometimes a flashback is simply too important to be a quick memory. Maybe it's a defining moment, a major turning point, or an event the reader needs to experience firsthand. In these cases, you can let the flashback unfold as a full scene, dialogue, action, tension, and all. It becomes a story within the story, immersive, emotional, and unforgettable. Just make sure it earns its place, because these longer flashbacks carry a lot of narrative weight. And then there are the flashbacks that arrive in pieces, a flash of an image, a word, a sudden sensation that doesn't quite make sense yet. Only later do those fragments start to come together. This technique creates intrigue and psychological depth. It's especially effective when the character has hidden or unreliable moments, or when the truth of the past is meant to unfold slowly, like a mystery being solved. And speaking of pieces coming together, if this video just clicked for you, go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps more writers discover these videos. And while you are at it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter of your own writing journey. Flashbacks are powerful, but they work best when they slip into the story so naturally that the reader almost doesn't notice the shift. Think of them as gentle currents. They shouldn't pull the reader out of the story, they should carry them deeper into it. A smooth flashback usually begins with a small nudge, a line, an image, a shift in rhythm, something that quietly signals we are going somewhere else for a moment. It might be a character pausing, or an emotional reaction, or a sentence like "she hadn't thought about that day in years." These cues give the reader balance before the story steps into another time. Once the flashback begins, a few well-chosen sensory details can make it feel immediate. You don't need long descriptions. Even a quick sound, a smell, or a vivid color is enough to transport the reader. What matters is that flashback isn't a summary, it's an experience. Flashbacks should earn their place. If a memory doesn't change something, a motivation, a tension, a relationship, it may not belong in the story. Too many flashbacks can slow everything down and leave the reader wondering what plot to follow. The best flashbacks arrive because the present moment truly needs something from the past. Coming back from a flashback should feel as smooth as entering it. A character might blink, someone might speak their name, or a detail in the present might suddenly look different because of what they've just remembered. The transition should feel like resurfacing, not like snapping awake. At the core, flashbacks are about identity. They show the moments that shaped your character, the choices, the wounds, the lessons, the promises. When used this way, they don't interrupt the story. They make the emotional stakes clearer and the character richer. Writing a good flashback isn't just about describing the past, it's about knowing exactly when in the story that past moments belongs and why it still matters to your character. And that's where bibisco can be a huge ally in your writing process. One of the challenges with flashbacks is keeping track of multiple timelines. You have your present day plot, and then you have these key events from the past that shaped your characters long before page 1. If you are not careful, the whole thing can start to feel like a jigsaw puzzle without the box cover. Bibisco's timeline feature helps you avoid that completely. It lets you lay out past and present events side by side, so you can literally see how your story unfolds across time. You can map out when the flashback happened, what else was happening in that period, and where it fits in your narrative flow. And once you have that clarity, deciding where to place each flashback becomes much easier. They stop feeling like interruption and start feeling like natural extension of the story. But flashbacks aren't just about chronology, they are also about character. You can't write a meaningful memory unless you understand what it meant to the person who lived it. And this is where bibisco's character development tools helps you dig into your character's formative experiences. The interviews, the backstory prompts, the psychological traits, the relationship maps helps you discovering that exact moments that shaped them. The childhood betrayal, the first great love, the fear they learned to hide. And once you know those moments, you understand the cause and effect behind a character's present behavior, and flashback becomes the bridge that connects their past self to their current choices. So bibisco gives you everything you need to craft flashbacks that are purposeful, grounded, and seamlessly woven into your story. Okay, that's all. Thanks for watching, and if you want help structuring your narrative and keeping everything organized, download bibisco using the link in the description, and let's build your story together. Happy writing, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!